Chuki B.
Let me introduce you to a family who's amazed with Jesus and His Majesty, raising our daughter in reality. And there's no other place that we'd rather be. Through the fun and the snuggles, the cries and the struggles, praising God through the good and the troubles. This is life on the real, not made up. Now we welcome you to Life with Zayla.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. If you're new and you're just checking this video out for the first time, welcome. I have a over 1.5-year-old daughter. Her name is Zayla, and I'm currently 7 months pregnant with my second little girl. So consider subscribing so you can join the fam, so you can check out my videos. I usually post Thursdays and Sundays. Sometimes my posting are a little off just because of everything that's going on and things are crazy, but at least I always try to at least have one video up for you guys. So if you're interested in motherhood, lifestyle, cooking, product reviews, hauls, all that good stuff, go ahead and consider subscribing. If you are not following me on my Instagram, Life with Zayla, you'll see a little thing right here or somewhere around here. If you want to consider following me so you can see all my pictures and what I'm up to and my stories. Anyways, let's get into this video. All right guys, so the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I wanted to just help out any moms out there that are struggling with their little ones, trying to sleep train them, or maybe you are about to start sleeping your baby or toddler, or maybe you are just curious to see how I did it. Whatever the reason may be, I wanted just to share what worked for me. Mind you, my daughter, it was pretty hard in the beginning to sleep train her, because obviously I was trying to see what worked for her and for us. So it was a little bit of a struggle. I'm not gonna lie, it was a big struggle actually, but I finally found what worked for her. And I know all babies and toddlers are different, so that's why I wanted to share what worked for me. Maybe you want to give it a try, because I know in the process of sleep training, and if a lot of things are failing, you kind of just want to give up, you're just over it. But don't do that. Keep pulling through. I know it's hard, but once you figure out what works for your child, it's so worth it, because that means you get to sleep at night. Because as you moms know, if they don't sleep, you don't sleep. And I know that's one of the hard things about sleep training in the beginning, because they're constantly going to be crying, waking up, and so on. So I hope that this video helps you guys out with the tips that I learned and I used for my daughter, and it worked for her. And it's not even a lot of things. I think I used like 4, maybe even like 3 things, and that's actually what worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and share with you guys. So my daughter, okay, let me kind of take you back. I started sleep training her, or putting her in her crib, which you see is behind me, by the age of, I think she was around 6 months, 6.5, close to 7 months. Obviously consider talking to your pediatrician, kind of letting them know that you're thinking of sleep training them. What they advise you always want to consult, because obviously some kids still, for whatever reason, might still need the 2 or 3 hour feeding at night. Every baby's different, so ask your pediatrician, and if you get the green light, then here we go. So I started to do that. She slept since she was born to about 6.5 months. She slept with us in our room, in her bassinet. I mean, in her little bassinet, and that's where she stayed most of her little life. But towards the end, no, not towards the end. So that's what worked. You know, I tried very, very hard, and I was very determined, let me just say, to not have her sleep with us, because I know that once you do that, babies get used to it. They don't want to, they're oversleeping anywhere else but with you in the bed. So I did pretty good. So right about, like I said, 6.5 months, we went ahead and put her in her room. She does have her own room. It's like right across ours. It's like not even 2 steps from our room. It's like super close. And obviously I left the door open. I do have a monitor where I can see her, hear her. So I'm like that. I need to see my kid. So for sure, I needed a monitor. And for peace of mind for me, if you're like me, get yourself a monitor, especially if you're starting to sleep train and they have their own room, because it really does help. I would stare at that thing like a hawk in the beginning. Obviously now, not as much. But so I already had that in place. I could see her perfectly, tried it out, all the whole good things. So I went ahead and, you know, talked to the pediatrician. She gave me the go. She didn't need to feed all straight through the night. It was okay. You know, I could still do it if she would wake up if I wanted to, but she was pretty much a go. So I put her in the crib. Obviously, there's so many methods. There's the cry it out. There's the, what is it, that you just stay in there and you hold them, or the ones that you leave them there and then they cry and then you get them, and it was just crazy. So what I did is, in the beginning, as she would cry, I would come, I would pick her up, I would kind of rock her back to sleep. I do have a little rocking chair kind of next to her crib on that side, which you can't see, and she would fall asleep and I would put her down. And that was pretty much how I did it. It was hard. She would cry. I had to constantly be getting up, and I could just not bear doing the cry it out because, you know, she was my first and I just couldn't do it. You know, I couldn't do it, and so I did it. So that went on for, I'm gonna say, maybe a good 2 months, maybe. Honestly, I don't really exactly remember. My mind fails me sometimes, especially now I'm pregnant. So I'm just gonna go with 2 months just to make this video easier. So let's just say 2 months I did that. Like, I would go in and out of her room. My door was open, her door was open, and I do still have a little night light. It's a blue night light that I keep, so her room is not totally dark, because like I said, I just wanted to walk in her room and be able to see, because if I were to take that off, this room would be pitch black, just like ours. So I did that. So mind you, I was just doing that, putting her PJs, doing that, putting her down, all good. Then I think, and then so it became really hard because I was not getting enough sleep. I was tired. It was just hard. Like, it was hard. And, you know, and I was like, when is she gonna sleep through the night, you know? And people would tell me, well, do the crying out method, or just put her back in the bassinet. Well, she wouldn't fit in the bassinet. She outgrew it, so I could not. So one day I made, and I don't want to say mistakes, because I know a lot of parents sleep with their kids, so I'm not trying to say that's bad. It's just, for me, I know what I wanted to do that worked for me. I know the idea and the plan that I had. So I call it, like I said, not really a mistake. I made the decision, and I don't think it was the best because of everything that happened after. I was so tired one night that I just laid her in the middle of me and my husband, Jose. And then she just fell asleep, and I got to sleep, and that was it. I saw how easy it was, and she went to sleep, and we started sleeping with her in the middle. And I told myself I would never do that. And when you're a mom, don't say never, especially when you don't have kids, because you don't know how it's all gonna play out. So we did that for a couple of months, right when she was maybe around 10 months, but let's see, like maybe 2 or 3 months. She started getting bigger. She sleeps crazy. Like, my husband would tell me that somehow her head or her body would just go against him and kind of hit him on the back. Like, she would just dig her face inside his back. I don't even know how she still was able to breathe, but whatever. I guess because he felt warm. I don't know. Like, she would just go behind her back. We couldn't really move. Or sometimes she would do it to me, but I think it was mostly him. And it was starting to get to the point where she would kick, and we were just so uncomfortable that we were like, you know what, we can't do this. Like, we can't. She has her crib, she has her room, she has to go inside the room. So right, I think when she turned almost, sorry guys, I know I don't remember stuff, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna make it up, because that's wrong. You know, I try to tell you, like, generally how things went down, and I don't remember if it was around 11 months that we were like, that's it. You know, my husband was like, I'm gonna fall off this bed, and I was like, you know, we can't stay with her, because she would sleep until we would sleep, and then she started waking up and crying. Just, I don't know if it was teething or this and that, and I was like, you know what, I am done. We're going back to sleep training, and this time, no matter what happens, I'm putting her in the crib and that's it. So I went online, I did my research, saw the best thing that worked for me, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try to just to put her down. And I actually found something like this, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard about it. It's called first of all, it's a sleep sack. Some people call it sleep sack, other people call it wearable blankets, however you want to call it. But you know, there's many out there, but I found one, and I think I saw it advertised a lot like on my social media, and then I looked into it. It's called the Nest, and that has like a little weighted thing in the chest area for the baby, to kind of feel like the mother is still like, the mother's touch, like the mother's still holding the baby. And at first I'm like, wait, it weighs? Like, what, is it gonna overweight? But no, it doesn't. It's perfectly safe. And mind you, Zayla was way bigger. I don't know if I would have done that newborn, because I overthink a lot of things, but she was bigger. So I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna give that a try and sleep train her and see how that goes. But before I even got that, I started leaving her in the crib, and she cried even more, because she was like, what is going on? I'm not sleeping with you guys. I'm sleeping alone. And she would cry like, no lie, it was so bad. I was dying because I was not getting any sleep. Like before the whole me moving her to her bed, I didn't sleep. This was even worse. Like I was like, I should have never put her in the bed. Like, why? But I was that tired. It was so bad. And I kept coming in the room trying to rock her to sleep, and it got harder and harder. And then that's where I found the information about the sleep sack. And this is, let me show you guys, because this is what it is. So at that time it was cold. It was during the winter season. So they have like a summer one where it's like not as thick, and then they have a winter one which it keeps them warm. It's pretty thick. And this is her little sleep sack. Actually, my mother-in-law was the one that gifted her and us this, so thank you so much. And this is basically, maybe you can see a small little stain. It's not dirty, I promise you. I even washed it today. It's because once she was sick and she got this medication, and she spit it out, and it's one of those that did not come out no matter how hard I tried or what I put on it. So it's like, maybe you can't see it too much, but yeah, so just a disclaimer out there. So this is basically her sleep sack that we got. It sips all the way, you can sip it all the way through. When I wash it, I do that. Inside is pretty, pretty cozy, and then you sip it up back up, probably towards her armpit area, and you clip it on. It has two clips, one here and one here, and she uses the top one because she's outgrowing this one. And mind you, we are getting into the summer, and where we live, it's super hot. Even in the month of May, we felt there's these days that they've just been hot. So she is getting a different one, but I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. So this is the Nest, what is it called? Yeah, Nest bean sack. And this has the little weight thing that I'm telling you. It's right over here. So she, like when you put them down, they still feel like they're being held. They feel like, they're safe. I'm not exactly sure what they feel, because, babies can't talk. But I noticed that when I put this on her, and if I'm able to, I'll show you either a picture or a clip of her wearing it and going with it in the crib. I did notice that when I would rock her to sleep and then put her down, remember I told you that I went back to doing that, and it was worse, because now she wouldn't even stay in the crib. She would just automatically cry. When I did it with this, she did not cry. Like, I was able to put her down and she would stay. And I was like, oh, I almost didn't want to move, because I was so scared that she was gonna wake up as I walked out her room. But I saw that this did help a lot because of the weight. And mind you, you can also put it like towards the back. Like, let's say your baby is, over a year, and he or she's a tummy sleeper, and you can put it on this side if that's like how they prefer to sleep. Just FYI. And I noticed that this was helping. It made a difference. Not only it kept her warm, it was like a blanket, but I guess she still felt held. Mind you, she still cried throughout the night, but it wasn't like immediately, you know, like before. Another thing that I advise you to invest, and this is something that I had it ever since before she was born, and then when I started sleep training her the first time and the second time, I used this. And this is a sound machine. This is just the one that Zayla has. I got this from Amazon, and this thing is so good. It has different sound machines. The one she likes is the white noise, if you can, this one, but it has white noise, it has lullaby, rock a baby, twinkle, ocean, heartbeat, whatever your baby likes. And then you can also do like a time, 15, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, and turn it on and off. Obviously it does have a little battery setting in the back, but and it brings up a little connection thing, so you can put it in the, like, you can plug it in the wall. We have that. We have it in our wall because batteries were getting wasted like crazy at first. So we're like, never mind. So this is just the one that she has. I'll link it if I'm able to find it. This helps so much. It helps out in so many ways. At least I noticed first, because they're used to that some type of noise like that inside the womb. Second of all, Zayla is a light sleeper. My daughter is very aware of what's going on in her surroundings. I think she got that from Jose. Jose tells me that he's a light sleeper, which I think he is, honestly, because if he goes to sleep before I do and I walk in the room, he just feels it. Like, he has to be like super dead tired for him not to feel it. And he always knows. Me, maybe before I had kids I was. Now, especially pregnant, I'm a rock. I can't. But when it comes down to Zayla, like, one cry and my ears, my mom instinct, whatever you want to call it, just wakes up, and I'm like, what? Like, anything. Or if I hear, if it's somehow, some way, I know if it involves Zayla, and I'm just alert. It's weird, maybe because we're moms out there, maybe you relate. But if it's anything, like, Jose could walk in and out of the room and I won't feel him at all. Like, he wakes up earlier than me, he could go to bed, I won't. But if I hear Zayla, or if I don't know if I feel, it sounds maybe weird, but if I feel something, like, I'm up, like, I look at the monitor, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like, what's going on? But other than that, I'm like dead. I'm like, I'm gone, I'm sleeping till the next day. So maybe she got that from Jose, I don't know. But she's a light sleeper. I know I went and told you guys a story, but that's how I do, right? She's a very light sleeper, so she could hear anything that we're doing. If we're watching TV, if she hears the door, if anything. So the noise from this thing helps block all that out. Like, you can watch TV without worrying, or, you know, the door can go in and out. Anything, any noise could, because if you have the sound, will block that. So I think this is something that you definitely want to invest. It just helps them, it soothes them. I know for Zayla, it makes a difference because, like I said before, when we barely got it, we would use the batteries, and if they would run out and this would automatically stop, she would wake up and start crying. Like, she would just know. Like, she doesn't hear that noise, what's going on, you know, like, what, yeah. So she would cry, and then I would be like, why is she crying? Then I would be like, wait, her sound machine is off. So that's another big reason why we were like, you know what, let's just plug it in the wall. We'll put it in somewhere near her crib. We'll figure it out by an extension cord, whatever. But it's just gonna be better. And I play it all throughout the night. Like I said, I can't have it on a timer because she will wake up, and we're not trying to do that. So I would suggest, again, invest in one of these. Doesn't have to be these. They're probably cheaper, more expensive, whatever. You can afford whatever you want to do. But trust me, invest in this because it's gonna help. And I'm taking a water break because mommy needs water. Of course, I have my Yeti. You guys know how I do. So I also researched that they advise you to have your room dark. So I would suggest that you, if you're able to invest in some blackout curtains, that's gonna help out a lot, especially because Zayla now takes her nap in her room, and when it's nap time, obviously it's still morning and there's the sun, and like I said, where we live is very sunny, very hot. So if there's any light, it's gonna shed through the window for sure. So, or even at night maybe. It just depends, because sometimes at night they have lights. Like I think our house has a light that it would shine, like not shine through, but you can see, you'll be able to see through the windows if you have like the really thin curtains, or the even the like silk curtain. So they suggest that you make the room dark, make it like it's time to sleep type of environment, so they can also know like, okay, it's bedtime, it's nap time. And her curtains are blackout. I got it, like obviously she's had those even before she was born, when we were getting the room ready, so that's already done. But that's gonna help the baby kind of get adjusted to the routine, like, okay, it's bedtime, we're going to sleep. It's it's getting darker than what I'm normally used to, being in the living room or being outside. And obviously, like I mentioned before, she does have a night light, but it's like very dim and it's blue, so it looks still dark. You know what I mean? It's not pitch black dark, but it's still dark. She understands. Obviously, she's over 1.5 years old. She's understanding, okay, this is bedtime. So as soon as she knows that this is going on her, she hears her little sound machine, she sees the room with the little light, she knows, okay, it's my bedtime. So like I said, back to this. So I was doing this, and like I said, she was still crying at night, not crying when I put her down. So I was like, this works. She slept longer stretches, but she was still crying at night. So I was like, okay, we can't. Like, I can't. She needs to sleep. She needs to understand. She needs to be trained. So what I decided to do was the cried out method at the end. I felt more comfortable because she was bigger, and like I said, I saw her on the monitor, and I felt good. And I heard this sleep trainer, I think that's how you say, sleep trainer lady, she had like a video on YouTube that I saw. She seemed very knowledgeable, very educated. Some high-end people had hired her because she's like a sleep trainer expert. And I saw this video and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do what you're saying, because I feel like this could work for my daughter. I tried everything else and I just need her to sleep through the night. So I did those. There's two ways to do it. There's the one that, and then also I asked one of my friends, and she had done it. She kind of did what I did too. So I felt a bit more comfortable doing it, because I just thought, well, I know my friend blank, her name, is doing it, so I'm not the only one. I don't know, it helped, whatever. So I went ahead, and for the first night I laid her down. Mind you, she slept, then she cried. And I went in, because they say go in. I think what it is, be there 2 minutes. Don't pick them up. Kind of just like put your hand on their tummy. Let them know that, you're there, and then get out. And then you don't come back in the room for 7 minutes. And at this point, I had to close the door, obviously, because she, like I said, she's bigger. She's aware of noise, so her door is closed. And I did that. So I went in, and then as I left, she got crazy. She was like, no, you're leaving. She cried even more. It was the worst. And I was like, okay, maybe it's because it's the first day. I think I did this about a week, and it would just be bad again. She would, every time I go in, she was fine. And then as soon as I got out, it was bad. She would cry. And I would try the whole 7 minutes. My mama was not getting any sleep again. I was like, this is not working. But like I told you, I had listened to this expert, and this mom, she was kind of giving her testimony on, how she helped her to sleep train her kid. It was her son. And she said that the whole coming in and out of the room didn't work for her child, because it was kind of like my daughter. It would make it worse. So what she did is, since she also had a monitor, she just let him cry and not go in. And I know that sounds harsh. Maybe someone out there is like, girl, that's mean. It's okay. I understand. But like I've always said on my channel, we're not here to point fingers at moms. Every mom does what works for them. At least I have a lot of respect for all the moms out there. Even if you do things my way or not my way, you're a mom. You know what works for you. You know what works for your family. You know what works for your kid. Do you. We are in this together. We are moms. Let's have each other's back. But like I said, I came to a point when I was like, I'm just going to try it. And I talked to my husband. he's actually he was like, it's okay, you just have to let her cry, she's fine. Like, he was more, I guess, stronger, if that's the word. So we were both in agreement. So I let her cry, and I would get the monitor and I would stare at it because, you know, hearing your child cry, you kind of, like a mom, you're like, you have to attend. But she was fine. She was absolutely fine. I could hear her breathing. I could hear her. I could see her. She just did not want to be in the crib. And I just, you know, it was really hard. I'm going to say the first 2 days, it was hard. It was hard because I just felt guilty. I wanted to go in. Jose kind of helped me not to, and then I told myself, and I'm like, if this works, it's gonna pay off. If this works, it's gonna pay off. So she kind of started to get the hint, like, mom ain't coming, nothing's happening, like, you know, I gotta sleep. Like, she fell asleep eventually. So I think, so she would cry less and less. And this was like periods of days. Like, I wish I could tell you in a week it all. No, it took me about maybe 3 weeks to fully have her sleep through the night without her crying. And if she would cry, she would soothe herself back to sleep. That's the point of sleep training your kid. It's like they can soothe themselves, as long as, obviously, if there's something wrong, if they're sick, that's a different story. I'm not saying your kid is like all sick and just there and you're just like, oh well. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. They're normal and healthy and everything's good and you feel comfortable by doing this, they're okay. They're able to soothe themselves. And that's a lot of the things that lady mentioned. And I wish I could remember her name or her YouTube, or not her YouTube, but where I got her from, so I can link her down below so you guys can check it out if you want to hear from like an expert. But I just did that, and you know what? Finally, when she fell asleep through the night, when she went to sleep through the night, it was a game changer. I was so grateful. I was actually getting some sleep. As a mom, you know, once your baby, not even when it comes out, when you're pregnant, I'm 7 months and I can't sleep anymore like I used to. So when you're pregnant, and mostly when your baby comes out and is with you, you are so sleep deprived. It's hard. It's so hard. So I was comfortable. She was older. I had tried all these things before I decided to kind of just try this cry it out method, where I would just see her in the monitor and wouldn't go in. Obviously, if I saw there was in danger, something was wrong, definitely would go in, but that was never the case. She slept through the night. This played a huge part because I would rock her, she would go to sleep, and I would lay her down and just leave her there. And the room being dark with the little night light, the sound machine, the curtains that would make it dark, all that played a part, and all of that helped so much. So that's basically what I did, basically what worked for me. Now, would I have done this when she was 6 months, 7 months? Obviously not, because, you know, she's small. But after a year, especially a year and plus months, I felt comfortable enough to be like, I could see my daughter, hear my daughter. She's okay if she cries, because I know there's nothing wrong. The only reason why she's crying, it's because she doesn't want to be in the crib and she wants to sleep in the bed. Or yeah, that's the only reason. Obviously, as a mother, you know your kid, you know why they cry. You just know that God gives you that instinct. You know your child's cries. I've heard that many times. It's so true. And that's just what worked for me. Like I said, maybe you're hearing this and you're like, yeah, I can't do that. Totally fine. Totally cool. Do what works for you. There's so much research. There's so much information out there. Research what you feel comfortable. I tried a different type of steps and nothing was working. And when I did this works now. She's able to sleep through the night. She's fine. And I sleep. Well, kind of, because I'm pregnant. But if I wasn't pregnant, I would sleep through the night. My husband could sleep, you know, because we don't have that worry of Zayla crying or her kicking. And I'm planning to do the same thing with this baby here. I'm planning to, you know, of course, obviously, if the pediatrician gives me the green light to do at 6-7 months, start sleep training her. Not just leave her and cry it out. No, go in, rock her. The same process in a way with Zayla. But what I will not be doing is putting her in the bed with us I'm like, there's no, because I know the price I paid for that, and I'm not doing that again. I'm just gonna have to, I don't know, I just pray this baby sleeps better. I've heard of babies that they just sleep good. Like they don't, you don't battle a lot with sleep training. There's always like a small battle because it's a transition, it's something new, and that's always different for the baby, and they cry. But it was, I hope it's not as hard as with my first daughter. But I'm gonna do the same thing, you know. And then by a year and months, I'm gonna, you know, hopefully not by this time, I hope, since I'm planning not to put her in my room, in my bed, you know, I would just do the same thing, because that helps, that works. And like I said, I feel comfortable because I could watch him like a hawk in the little monitor, stare at it like this close if I want to, and I can hear perfectly well. So invest in a good monitor. They are different prices, but honestly, do your research. Make sure you read reviews, because that is a plus. That gives you peace, and it makes it so much easier to sleep train with a monitor. Because if I wouldn't have had one, I don't know, I would have had to buy one, because like I said, I'm that mom that I need to see my kid, because I need to see my kid. So basically, guys, like I said, this is the sleep sack that helped. It really does help. Like all they say in the like what they claim, what the sleep sack claims to be, it is true. I saw it with my daughter. My daughter was very difficult to sleep train, so I'm telling you, so this works. I'll link this down below. I'll try to link this if I'm able to find it. And I'm not going to link the curtains, because honestly, you can go anywhere and get them. Wherever your price point is at, just look for blackout curtains and you're good. And nightlight, anywhere, even the dollar store. So obviously, you don't need me to link those things, but I'll definitely link these two, because I think they played a huge part with sleeping Zayla. And she was a difficult little baby girl to sleep train. Trust me, she was. So that is my advice. Those are my tips. That's what worked. And I told you that I was going to tell you, since she is outgrowing this one, because she's getting taller, bigger, and it's going to be hot. Obviously, this is for winter. She is getting, it's coming in, I think next week, a different one, like a more summer appropriate cotton breathable sleep sack. And this is not going to be the same brand. I could have gotten the same brand, but I feel like this part, she doesn't need it anymore, because she already understands crib time, you know, all that stuff. Like she doesn't need to feel held anymore, because she already knows, she understands, she's bigger. So I got her one from the brand Little Unicorn, and I'll show you that when it comes in. I'm planning to do a little clothing haul, so I'll probably insert it there. And if I don't, I'll try to show you in one of my vlogs, or however I do it, or I'll probably do it on story. So make sure you are following me on Instagram, Life with Zayla. But yes, so I'm just keeping her with this, because it's not as hot, as bad, and if it is, we have the AC, so it actually gets pretty cold with the AC on. So this is still good for her. But I know like June, July, August, like that's gonna be way too warm for her for sure. So she's getting that in very soon. Like I said, I believe it's next week. So that's the one that she's gonna be using, and I'll show you that, like I said. So yes, guys, hopefully this video was helpful. Hopefully it's not as long. I'm trying to make it short, because nobody got time to be watching something, or maybe they do. We're in quarantine. What am I saying? But regardless, I'll stop the rambling. But I really do hope that everything that I share with you, or even some little key nuggets, help you guys out, especially if you're starting into this sleep training journey. I know it could be difficult, I know it could be hard, but moms, go for it. Have faith in yourself. I know you want to give up, but don't, because trust me, when you get it and you see what works, you're gonna enjoy your sleep in a sense, because I feel like you never sleep the same after you're a mom, but you'll enjoy that sleep. You're gonna thank yourself and the Lord that your baby is actually sleeping through the night. So I don't throw in the towel. Be encouraged, because I know it's hard, but I did it, and you can do it too. So I hope that it's helpful. If you have any questions, anything, just comment down below, or if you're following me on Instagram, DM me. I would more than love to answer, help any moms out there. That's the reason why I'm doing this channel. All right, guys, so hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care and be safe. Bye, guys.